Welcome to the J.W. Jupiter Readers Theater. I'm pleased to bring you a reading of The Tyger by William Blake. The Tyger hardly needs an introduction. Perhaps it is enough to note that the copy of the Faber Book of Beasts that I own, which contains 100 different poems about 100 different animals, has a tiger on the cover, in reference to this very poem. So I will say only this now. The poem is hardly about the beast itself, but rather seeks to question what must be the terrible creator of the tiger and its fearful symmetry. But, in order to not get too far out in front of the pleasure and presence of the work of art itself. The Tyger by William Blake. Tyger, Tyger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tyger, Tyger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? The Tyger can very well be thought of as a horror poem first, rather than as an animal poem. In the first stanza, the poem asserts that it is the symmetry of the tiger that is fearful, as it asks the question, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? This is the argument of the poem, to bring you, by the end, to feel yourself why and how the tiger's symmetry is the source of its fearfulness, and not just have the poem assert it, to share in the unpleasant astonishment that leads the speaker to first question the creator about the tiger that is burning bright, not only in its outlandish color and capacity for violence, but also burning in that it presses fervently in the speaker's mind. But why is the symmetry of the tiger, both in its shape and in its stripes, the object of the speaker's horror and fear? Surely, symmetry is not often portrayed negatively, but here it is, because it shows that the tiger, in its magnificence, in its murderous magnificence, was created very deliberately and intentionally. The tiger's horror is not accidental spillover from original sin. We know that Genesis says that all creation groans under the weight of original sin. All the apparent sufferings of man and nature are part of the disorder and mutual misery that has this common source. But the tiger seems to be different. It is precisely the symmetry that is the problematic proof of heavenly intention in the creation of something so malevolent. The tiger is too perfect, it is too beautiful, it is too terrible, it is too good at the horror and violence that it does, to have been made with anything other than very intentional purpose. As such, the poem draws the focus towards the creator of the tiger, and imagines the progressive steps in its creation. We have questing language, journeying out to obtain the tiger's fire from distant deeps of skies, somewhere far away in the cosmos, which gives way to imagery of the blacksmith, which, step by step, molds then forges the tiger into being. The progressiveness of all these steps across multiple stanzas serves to heighten the sense of deliberateness, of premeditated design in the tiger's creation. Although the speaker clearly has in mind to put the question to he, God, capital H and capital G, the speaker uses lowercase h for he, which is a conceit that implies the tiger's creator might actually be an unknown actor. This emphasizes that the tiger's deliberate createdness has provoked distance, doubt, and unfamiliarity in the speaker towards God. With this conceit, the tiger's creator in this poem seems to be far more like Dr. Frankenstein, digging with pliers into the flesh of his monster on the bench and flipping electric switches and manipulating beakers of chemicals, or like Sauron, bathed in shadows and red at his forge as he hammers the ring of power out with malevolent purpose in mind. The climax of the poem is in the second to last stanza. It asks bluntly for this creator of the tiger, "Did you sit back and enjoy the perfectibility of this beautiful nightmare you made, this slaying demon? If so, and it seems you did, how can you possibly also assert the values of the Lamb and Christ as the controlling ones for humanity?" The poem is now done with the conceit of pretending that the tiger's creator could be some separate entity from God, and places the question clearly to God. Perhaps the only real answer at this point is the "I will be what I will be," what God says to Moses in Exodus, that God has unfathomable depth to his being and purposes far beyond man's comprehension. In the last stanza, the question put to the tiger's creator is refrained from the first stanza, for the contemplation of the tiger's creation in the poem has not brought answers, but only widened the chasm and thrown up the creator's alienness in still starker relief. Around the still yet brightening, burning tiger, the darker grows the night. Thank you for visiting the J.W. Jupiter Readers Theater. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the tiger in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed what you heard, and I'll see you soon on another J.W. Jupiter reading adventure.